I'm Dr. Mark Hatala, and I want to welcome you to our discussion of writing advice for the 21st century, because you can never get enough advice from other people. So let's start out with the advice of please buy my books. That sounds like more of a plea than advice. But I have 3 books on writing 7th edition APA style that will certainly help you with your writing, because we're interested in writing academic papers, and they tend to be dry and to the point, which are you're just providing the facts to people. Now, they can seem formulaic because you are writing to a formula. You're writing to APA style. Departing from that formula doesn't make you creative, it makes you wrong. So I've been teaching writing for 25 plus years, and so I thought I'd put this video together to give you some advice that goes beyond write from an outline, which you should absolutely do though. Number 1 is when to write. You should not wait until you're in the mood to write, because then you'll never write. Life has so many distractions, and especially college life. One of the problems that especially freshmen and sophomores have is they just overcommit to things. They just join a number of organizations, and it chews up all of their time. So it would be difficult to come up with something less interesting than writing your paper. And again, college has a lot of unstructured time, so you should pace yourself. So block out a time during the week when you'll just guarantee to work on your paper. Trying to write an entire paper in one sitting is likely to end in failure, especially if it's the night before it's due. Now, sometimes students will tell me, I write better when I'm under pressure, and I've always wanted to write on those papers. I guess there wasn't enough pressure, but I don't. Number 2, write in haste, revise at leisure. Now, when it comes to writing, anything is better than nothing, because once you start writing, you can read it and find ways to make it better. But if you have nothing to work with, then you have absolutely nothing to revise. So students often tell me that they have their entire paper worked out in their head. Forget about your head and just write it down, because then you can revise it and work from that. Number 3, when to stop, because we want to work on our paper and then put it aside and then go back to it. Stop writing when you're going good. And this is advice from Ernest Hemingway, who's pictured there to the right, and it's always worked for me too. So don't try to write your paper in one sitting, but when do you stop? Hemingway thought that it was when you knew what you wanted to write about next. And since he won a Nobel Prize for Literature, I think we should listen to him. So he said, here's the full quote: "The best way is always to stop when you're going good and when you know what will happen next. If you do that every day when you're writing a novel, you will never be stuck. That is the most valuable thing I can tell you, so try to remember it." So maybe try to write your opening paragraph or your thesis statement or part of the body of your paper or something like that, but know what you're going to work on next. Number 4 is identify the audience that you're writing for. Now, obviously, you're writing for your professor because they're the ones that are going to put a grade on your paper. But does that mean you're only writing for somebody with an advanced degree in the field? Not at all. What you're really intending to do is write for an educated reader who may or may not be familiar with the topic. Now, sometimes we call that a naive reader, but I don't like that. I don't like the term naive reader because I think it makes it sound like they're a gullible person. And the word gullible has been removed from the dictionary, so we don't use that anymore. Number 5 is all about bad papers. There are no bad papers, just papers that need revision. So don't turn in a rough draft as your final paper. I see that an awful lot where people, yeah. Students often dismiss a low grade by saying, I'm just not a good writer. But writing ability is not an immutable characteristic, which means that it's changeable. So if you work hard, if you write and revise, then you can absolutely write a good paper. There's people who are better writers, which means that they don't need to revise as much, but there are no such things as bad papers. The last piece of advice I'd give is to get an editor. So have someone else read your paper before you turn it in. Now, in my opinion, this should be mandatory because we rely on technology to spell check our work, but it really takes a human reader to find all of our mistakes. Most schools have something like a writing center where you can make an appointment, and I would strongly encourage you to take advantage of that perk. Now, the people who read my work are my TAs. My teaching assistants are fantastic writers themselves. They always find things that I miss, and it is head-slappingly upsetting to me where this is stuff that I've read several times, and they still find things that I've missed. And so I think, how did I miss that? I want to thank you and wish you good luck with your writing. And please come visit us at APA Central. There's lots of videos and lots of materials to help you become a better writer. And have a great day.